On behalf of the Tampa-Hillsborough Expressway Authority, which is known as THEA for short, I want to welcome you to this presentation of traffic issues along US 301 South. To start, let me provide an overview. You probably best know THEA for the Selman Expressway, which it owns, operates, and maintains. In addition to the Selman Expressway, it also owns, operates, and maintains Brandon Parkway, Meridian Avenue, and the Selman Greenway. As THEA is the owner of the Selman Expressway, the Hillsborough County Board of Commissioners and the THEA Board asked where THEA could help with growth in southeastern Hillsborough County. Specifically, commissioners asked THEA to study the possibility of connecting the Selman to Big Bend Road along US 301 South due to growth in population and traffic congestion in the area, and send a letter to the county's planning organization to add the project to the 2050 Long Range Transportation Plan. The project we're discussing would connect the Selman Expressway south to Big Bend Road along US 301. Now, before we go any further, it's important to note that we are at the very beginning of that inquiry. There is no plan, there is no proposal for any road project. But this is how any potential project begins, through study, research, and listening. I'm going to share some information with you, but the purpose of this presentation is to facilitate better understanding on what you have to say about this idea. This is part of a process that could lead to a project in the years ahead. To begin, let me tell you a little more about THEA, and I'll share with you some traffic data we've compiled. The Tampa-Hillsborough Expressway Authority, THEA, is an independent agency of the state established by the Florida legislature in 1963 as a transportation option to bring roadway projects online sooner using non-conventional funding. In other words, toll revenues as opposed to taxes fund THEA's projects. THEA reinvests its toll revenues back into Hillsborough County in support of transportation operations and projects that connect residents, workers, and visitors. While the agency is independent, it works very closely with all our government agencies, including Tampa, Hillsborough County, and the Florida Department of Transportation. As part of that collaboration, and in response to the traffic concerns here, last June, the Hillsborough County Board of Commissioners voted unanimously for THEA to begin investigating the possibility of a new tolled roadway along the US 301 corridor from the Selman Expressway south to Big Bend Road. Specifically, commissioners asked THEA to conduct a PD&E study. That stands for Project Development and Environment. In Florida, a PD&E study is the first formal step in project development. It comes before project design plans are drafted, which comes prior to any construction. A PD&E study examines preliminary questions, including the social, economic, natural, and physical impacts of any potential project, and it includes a formal public engagement plan in which you will have multiple opportunities to engage with project planners and engineers to learn more and provide input that will be included in the PD&E's final report. All that has not started yet. It is expected to begin within the next year. Right now, we are in the pre-PD&E stage and are conducting a listening tour in which we'll gather information that can help guide the PD&E process. THEA has done some very preliminary analysis of the US 301 corridor. To begin, it's well documented that this area is booming and population growth continues, which will make existing traffic worse if not addressed. There are increasing demands on US 301, including many residents who are commuters to Tampa, West Shore, and other business districts. Traffic congestion has an economic cost in lost time, as well as increased pollution and safety concerns. And we know those issues will only get worse if not addressed as population continues to grow. A couple years ago, the Tampa Bay Economic Council projected population along the US 301 South corridor would increase between 11.6 and 25.2% in the 5-year period between 2021 and 2026, and we're in the midst of that right now. As part of the preliminary work, THEA has done some traffic data analysis, and I want to give you a snapshot of those results. These numbers are compiled based on driver GPS data for a typical weekday last year. The commute time metric is a 24-hour measure, adding peak and non-peak. We've found the average trip for someone using the US 301 South corridor is 30 miles long and takes 46 minutes. Congestion adds a lot to the travel time average, as research shows the average speeds drop below 20 miles per hour on significant portions of the corridor during the busiest times of the day. Safety is another priority for THEA, and there are notable safety concerns along the 301 corridor. Between 2019 and 2023, there have been 25 fatal crashes. That includes 3 pedestrians and 1 bike rider, plus more than 100 other incidents of significant injury, those that are incapacitating. We've also looked at crashes along the corridor. This heat map shows where they are the worst. Overall, in the 5-year period ending in 2023, there were more than 2,900 vehicle crashes. Nearly half of those, 49%, are rear-end collisions. Bicyclist and pedestrian use of the corridor is also an important consideration. It's not just drivers we're concerned about. A metric we use in considering that performance is called LTS. That stands for Level of Traffic Stress. LTS 1 is best. That means low stress. LTS 4 is the worst. For pedestrians, we look at sidewalks, if they exist, how wide they are, plus the posted speed limits and how separated sidewalks are from traffic. For bicyclists, we look at things including the existence of bike lanes, how wide they are, and how much traffic volume bike riders have to deal with. Here's what our analysis shows on the level of stress for pedestrians and bicyclists. On this map, the red dots you see represent LTS 4, the highest stress level for pedestrians. The solid red lines are LTS 4 for bike riders. And as you can see, there is a lot of stress for both pedestrians and bicyclists. In a couple places north of Bloomingdale, there are no bike lanes available. Before I wrap this up, I want to share with you two other areas of concern which can make things even worse. First, a crash on a parallel north-south route, either I-75 or US-41. And as we've seen, US301 is already over capacity. If there's an incident or closure on either of those roads, traffic is backlogged. There's just nowhere to go. Second, hurricane evacuations. It's the same issue there. With US301 already over capacity on normal days, the extra capacity needed to get everyone out of the area in the event of a weather emergency make this a very challenging situation. And that's when we need our roadways the most. All this, the congestion, safety problems, and evacuation concerns, are being considered by the Hillsborough Transportation Planning Organization and makes US301 a high priority corridor. The potential connection of the Selman Expressway south along the US301 corridor is currently ranked number 7 out of 162 potential projects on the TPO's Major Investment Project Needs Assessment list. So that leads us to where we are now. Traffic problems are well known in southeastern Hillsborough County, and as mentioned, in looking for potential ways to improve the situation, the Hillsborough County Commissioners asked THEA to begin research on a potential Selman connection south to add roadway capacity along the US301 corridor. The PD&E study THEA is about to undertake is the first step in determining how feasible this idea is and potentially making it into a reality. Now we want to hear from you. There is a project website which has much of the information we discussed today and more at selmanstudies.com/US301study. On that site, you will find a section to send us comments and questions. A public preference survey is also open, which you can access using a QR code. We look forward to hearing from you.